Hi everyone, it's Gina with Peonies of America. Hope everyone is doing good. It's April 1st, April Fool's Day, and I'm going to do a quick walkthrough and I'm going to show you where my peonies are right now and how close they are to blooming. Last year this weekend I already had blooms, so I expect that the extreme cold has held my blooms back a week, which is fine. But let me show you what the above ground boxes look like, and I've got blooms this close to blooming. So let's check it out. Okay, so I'd like to start off with the same 4 above ground boxes here that I usually start out with. And that way you can kind of use it as a reference. And then I'm going to go to the back and do the 4. There's actually 4 above ground boxes back there. So 8 total. In these 4 boxes here are the Sarah Bernhardts. And they're really coming on. Some of them have really beautiful foliage. And some of them have buds and many of them do not. These are first year peony plants. Sarah Bernhardt is a mid to mid-late. Beautiful pink, one of the most sought after peony bloom. And these boxes are really coming around. This one right here has a couple blooms on it. And many of them do not. This one here has a lot of foliage, beautiful foliage, and no blooms, which is normal for a first year plant. And again, I am in grow zone 7B. I also did lay straw. This is a good view of the straw that I laid for weed suppression. And I'm just going to try to get a jump start on it and see if that will help hold down much of the weeds. I do have landscape fabric along the sides of the beds down below, about 6 inches wide out. But Oklahoma weeds are tough. It's a constant chore. And I just want to do a quick overview of the beds. I know if you go back and you reference some of the other videos, you'll see that they have really grown a lot. I have added lots of seeds, and some of my other flowers are starting to really come on, the bachelor buttons. Some of the other flowers, the anemones, really came on nice. They made it through 20 below in an above ground box, so they did get froze and they made it, so they're very cold hardy. This is more than likely a coral charm or a pink Hawaiian coral. It's got several blooms on it and so forth. You can kind of see and reference it back. The anemones really did bounce though. And the stems, that stem right there is about 20 inches long. It's an amazing stem. This one here is a different color peony. I'm not sure what that is. The foliage is darker compared to the lighter color foliage here, which is probably a coral charm. This one here, much darker. Beautiful foliage though. And you can actually see the sap on these blooms. The little white crystals, that is sap. Isn't that amazing? And just another overview of the above ground beds. Lots of different varieties I'm really excited to see. I put them in. I kind of have an idea of what I have in here, but as soon as I see the blooms, I will know exactly what flowers they are. My ornamental kale really did well, and it made it through the hard freeze. Some more bachelor buttons and some phlox that I have kind of winding through here that's coming up now. But anyway, a quick overview. Again, the buds here in these 3 boxes. Here's a 4-year-old plant, an old coral charm that I had put in here. This is a coral charm plant, very large, very beautiful, and full of blooms. I'll get several stems off of that for cutting. Some foxglove I put in, some more peony plants and so forth. So that's where we're going to start. Now we'll go out and look at the cutting. I usually always forget to show everyone the peonies that I put along this fence. This was my my north fence, and I still have some straw down from that really frigid cold weather that we had, so I just left it for some weed suppression. But if you'll get a closer look, Many of them have a lot of nice big buds on them. Really getting close to blooming. This one is even getting a little bit of color to it. Same with this one. And I believe these are Coral Charm and Pink Hawaiian Coral. And they all look really good. Wow. This one here has one, really a big stem too. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 buds on that one. Wow. Really a nice plant. Okay, so that's my peonies along my north fence here. And now we'll go out to the cutting garden. Okay, and then a quick look at the peonies in pots. The first pot is a 20-gallon, and it has patio peonies in it. And so there's 3 of them in here, and it takes up the whole pot, but isn't that a sight? Look at all the greenery. It's just absolutely beautiful. And these are garden peonies, and you can clearly see the difference. This is just another variety, and there's buds all over it. These were grown in these pots. The bare roots, I did videos on them when I put the bare roots in these pots, in this soil. There's early, mid. Most of these are mid peonies. There are some mid-late in here. Like these here are mid-late. They're just coming up. But look at the patio peonies. Aren't those amazing? So those really do well grown in pots. I had -20 degrees here. These are fabric pots. I also have one in plastic over here. This is a plastic pot, and look at the greenery. Look at the lush peony greenery. And there's buds all over. There's some more buds. Anyway, so, and this is a tree peony, and it did just fine. It did fine in the pot, above ground pots too. So I didn't move them. All I did was put straw on top, and then I stuffed straw in between the blank spaces during all that cold. I couldn't move these by myself, so I left them. So peonies in pots. There you have it. And then a close-up again of those patio peonies. Looking out to the cutting garden, I just wanted to make it a little bit better view so you could kind of see what it looks like coming out here. In the first box here, I have the patio peonies again, and the tall one is a garden. So I wanted you to be able to see what the patio peonies did look like. The greenery is absolutely beautiful. It's very dense, and the buds are very nice and large right now. Another week and I should start seeing them bloom. This one here is really far along, but the foliage is very dense. Again, these are patio peonies, very prolific, dwarf bred peonies. They are called patio peonies. They are bred to grow in pots. So if you live in an apartment or a condo, townhome, small house, the patio peonies are wonderful to have in pots. Going out here, this is the cutting garden. These are first-year herbaceous peonies. I have many varieties out here. I have early, mid, and mid-late. Again, I'm in grow zone 7B. Mine do bloom a little bit quicker, and I have so many stems and buds on these. I'm just going to go ahead and let these bloom this year. If I do cut any, they will be on very, very short stems because you need to leave the foliage on first year, second year peony plants. It is very important to leave the foliage on so they can get photosynthesis. They will die and they will not make it if you cut these stems down and take all their foliage from them. It will destroy the plants, believe me. I have done it. I have lost a whole garden from cutting my peonies too short. Please do not cut them too short, but enjoy some of them and leave some of the blooms on until they start to until they're bloomed out, and then just snip the very top of the bud off. It's very important. It's very hard to do, but it is important to do. Here are just some varieties I'm going to show you. That was the dog getting into the horse tank. I'm just going to walk along. Here's one with 3. They're very healthy. I did water these very well. I gave them a heavy soaking yesterday and the day before. Very heavy soaking with water standing. And I wanted them to be, the ground to be very soft underneath so the roots can really take hold during the springtime. The summers here are very hard on these plants. The bud on here is amazing. But again, first year cutting garden, peonies. If I cut any, it will be one very short stem, and then I will leave as much foliage on these plants as possible. Many different colors of foliage. These are bright green. These are coral charms and pink Hawaiian coral. These will be the first to bloom. This one down here on the end is almost open. I believe these are my Paul M. Wilds. And there is one over here that already has some color to it, and it is spectacular. Look at that. Anyway, so first year cutting garden, herbaceous peony plants. I watered them well. I try to pick out weeds every time I walk through. And as soon as I have blooms, I will be back out. Look at this one. This one is almost opened up. Oh, look at that. It's got ants all over it, but that's normal. And there it is. Okay, well, that might be my first bloom, and it is so pretty. That is my tree peony, and I do have a bloom on it, a first year bloom. And, but anyway, so maybe this Easter weekend, I will have my first blooms. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour. It is a week. Most every week I come on with an update of how they're growing. Again, as we walked through the peony, the cutting garden, if I take any off, it will be just the tops of them this year, and I will leave one on. If there's only one bloom, I will leave the bloom on the plant because they're first year. I'll do that for the first and second year. I know it's very hard to do, but it is very important to leave as much foliage on these plants because the tubers are building their energy and their strength, and they're growing their roots. So the best thing to do is let Mother Nature take its course. But it's Easter weekend, and as soon as I have blooms, I will be back on here. So stay tuned, and happy Easter weekend, everyone. Bye.